Have you ever gone to the supermarket in Jamaica for just a few things and somehow ended up spending 10, 20, or even $30,000? You get home, you unpack the bags, and then you ask yourself, where did all the money go? What exactly did I buy? If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Some of the biggest grocery savings don't happen inside the supermarket. They happen before you even leave your house. Today, I'm sharing 7 practical strategies my wife and I have used for years to reduce our grocery bill or simply keep it within budget. These are real-life habits that have saved our family thousands and thousands of dollars over the years. And to make this series even more practical, we also asked our family, friends, and coworkers one simple question. What do you do to save money on groceries? The response was amazing. So throughout this series, I'll be sharing many of their real-life tips as well. Welcome to Winning the Grocery Battle in Jamaica, a special 3-part series on building wealth with wisdom. I'm Adrian. Proverbs 21:20 reads, "There is a treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up." Let's start with the strategy that has probably made the biggest difference of our family. Strategy 1, meal planning and meal preparation. This has probably saved us more money than any other habit. My wife and I have practiced meal planning and meal preparation for several years, and that's without exaggeration. It has saved us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Yes, it requires a little time, but it's healthier, it's more organized, it reduces stress, and it's much more cost effective. Before we shop, we already know what we're having for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. We also decide when meals will be prepared, which ingredients need to be prepared in advance, and what can be cooked or prepared in batches for the week. Then we shop according to the plan, not according to our emotions. Once we get home, we don't just put the groceries away. We prepare them. We wash and cut the vegetables, clean, cut, and package fruits in airtight containers, clean and season meats, cook and freeze staples like peas, peel and freeze yams and corn, and portion snacks. In other words, we make healthy choices the easy choice. This preparation makes it much easier to eat the food we've already paid for instead of ordering expensive takeaway meals after a long day of work. Meal planning and meal preparation work hand in hand. Planning tells you what you will eat. Preparation makes it easy to actually eat the plan. Because our meals are already planned and many ingredients are already prepared, we avoid those last-minute trips to the supermarket, emergency fast food purchases, and impulse spending when we're too tired to decide what to cook. Spending just a little time each week planning and preparing meals eliminates decision fatigue. It reduces food waste and cuts unnecessary grocery purchases because we buy only what we need and use what we buy. If you have children, meal planning and preparation becomes even more valuable. Meals can be built around food they genuinely enjoy. School lunches can be prepared in advance. Healthy snacks can be portioned ahead of time. That means less food goes to waste, fewer expensive last-minute purchases, and a grocery budget that stretches much further. So you may be asking, how does this save money? Well, it helps us buy only what we need. It reduces food waste and it makes us far less likely to spend more money on takeaway meals when we're tired. Strategy number 2, shop your kitchen before you shop the supermarket. Before my wife and I write a grocery list, we shop our kitchen. Before buying anything new, we check everything we already have. We open the refrigerator, the freezer, the pantry, and every cupboard. Then we create what we call our use it up list. Maybe we already have some carrots, seasoned chicken legs, 2 tins of mackerel, some bammies, ripe bananas. Instead of buying more food, we ask ourselves, what meals can we prepare with what we already have? Those ripe bananas can become banana bread, banana fritters, or used in a smoothie. The seasoned chicken legs can become dinner, breakfast, or even part of a hearty soup with carrots and other vegetables. The mackerel and bammies can become breakfast. Sometimes I've discovered that we already had enough food at home to postpone grocery shopping for several more days or even weeks. That's money saved. Before we have even left the house, too often we buy new groceries while older food gets pushed to the back of the refrigerator or pantry. They are forgotten and eventually spoiled. If you have children, involve them in this exercise. Let them help decide what meals can be prepared from what's already in the kitchen. It's a simple way to teach stewardship while reducing food waste. And how does this save money? Every meal you prepare from food you already own is one less meal you have to buy. It also reduces spoilage because older food gets used before it expires. Sometimes the cheapest grocery trip is the one you don't have to make. Strategy number 3. Stretch your ingredients and your meals. This strategy is all about getting maximum value from every dollar spent. One of the easiest ways to reduce your grocery bill is to buy ingredients that can be used in several different meals instead of just one. For example, one package of saltfish can become ackee and saltfish, callaloo and saltfish, saltfish fritters, saltfish with ground provisions, saltfish rundown. Get it? That's 5 different meals from a single purchase. Instead of buying a different protein for every meal, we make one ingredient work even harder. The more meals you can create from the same ingredients, the lower your cost per meal. We also cook with tomorrow in mind. And when we prepare Sunday dinner, we intentionally cook enough so that Monday's lunch or dinner is already taken care of. You may call it Sunday Monday. That means one cooking session provides 2 or even sometimes 3 meals. Every leftover meal is one less meal you have to buy or cook. Think about it. If buying lunch costs you roughly $1,500, but leftovers provide lunch the next day, you have effectively saved 1,500 Jamaican dollars with almost no extra effort. Do that just twice a week and you could save more than $150,000 a year. Instead of seeing leftovers as boring, see them as money in your refrigerator. Leftover chicken can become chicken wraps or fried rice. Leftover rice can become vegetable fried rice. Leftover vegetables can go into soup or a stir fry. Nothing has to go to waste if you plan ahead. Stretching your ingredients and meals means you buy fewer groceries, you waste less food, you spend less time cooking, you avoid expensive takeaway meals, and you get far more value from every grocery dollar spent. The goal isn't just to buy food, it's to get many nutritious meals as possible from every shopping trip. That's how you make your grocery budget work harder for you. How does this save money, you may ask? Every leftover meal is one less meal you have to purchase. You're getting more meals from the same grocery bill. Think of leftovers not as old food, but as prepaid meals waiting in your refrigerator. Here is strategy number 4. Make a grocery list and buy what you come for. Never shop without a grocery list. A grocery list is more than a reminder. It's your spending plan. It helps you stick to your budget, avoid impulse purchases, and buy only what you actually need. My wife and I have followed one simple rule for years. Buy what you came for. If it wasn't on the list, stop. Ask yourself, do I really need this today? If the answer is no, leave it for the next shopping trip. Every item you don't buy on impulse is money that stays in your pocket. Small, unplanned purchases may seem harmless, but they quickly add up and can easily blow your grocery budget. One chocolate bar, one extra drink, one snack you didn't plan to buy. Individually, they don't seem like much, but together, over weeks and months, they can cost thousands of dollars. So, how does this save money? Because impulse purchases are one of the quickest ways to exceed your grocery budget. A grocery list keeps you focused on your priorities instead of your cravings. And remember, every dollar spent intentionally is another dollar working toward your family's financial future. Strategy number 5. Leave the children at home when practical. Now, I know this one may be a little controversial. If you have young children, you probably know exactly where this is going. Every aisle becomes, Mommy, Daddy, can I have this? Can you buy that? Please? Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you should never take your children grocery shopping. In fact, grocery shopping can be one of the best classrooms for teaching financial responsibility. It's a wonderful opportunity to teach children about budgeting, comparing prices, making wise financial decisions, and understanding the difference between needs and wants. Those are lessons that can benefit them for the rest of their lives. But if your goal is to stick strictly to your grocery budget, sometimes shopping alone may actually save you money. Without the constant requests, without the extra temptation, and without those small, unplanned purchases that quietly find their way into the shopping cart. How does this save money? It reduces those little unplanned purchases that may seem insignificant at the time, but over the course of a year can quietly add thousands of dollars to your grocery bill. And sometimes the smartest financial decision isn't what you buy. It's creating an environment where you're less tempted to buy what you never planned to purchase in the first place. Strategy number 6. Prioritize needs over wants and identify your budget drainers. One simple habit that can make a noticeable difference is separating your grocery list into needs and wants. Needs are essentials, wants are extras. Rice, cooking oil, flour, soap, toothpaste, those are usually needs. Imported snacks, premium yogurt, specialty cereals, gourmet coffee, see where I'm going? Those may be wants. Now this doesn't mean you should never buy them. It simply means buying them intentionally rather than automatically. Another exercise that has helped many families is identifying what I call your grocery budget drainers. These are the items that are quietly consuming a large portion of your grocery budget without you even realizing it. Here's a simple challenge. Over the next month, write those items down. Record what each one costs, then total everything at the end of the month. You may be surprised or even shocked at how much money quietly disappears on items you never intended to spend so much money on. Maybe it's imported cereals, premium yogurts, specialty snacks, expensive juices, gourmet coffee, or simply buying name brand products out of habit when a less expensive alternative would have served just as well. Once you identify your grocery budget drainers, you don't necessarily have to eliminate them. You simply become more intentional about when and how often you purchase them. How does this save money? What gets measured becomes much easier to manage. When you know where your grocery dollars are going, you can make wiser decisions about where they should go instead. Strategy number 7, budget for treats. Now, let me balance everything I've said. Saving money shouldn't feel like punishment. One of the best suggestions we receive from our family and friends, and one that reflects how my wife and I approach grocery shopping, is to budget for a treat. Maybe it's your favorite ice cream, a pastry, a chocolate bar, your favorite coffee, or something special your family genuinely enjoys. The important thing is that it's planned, not impulsive. A small budget treat makes it much easier to stick to your grocery plan because you don't feel deprived. And when you don't feel deprived, you're far less likely to make expensive impulse purchases later. You don't have to eliminate every pleasure in order to save money. The goal isn't to spend nothing. The goal is to spend wisely. Financial freedom isn't built by one big decision. It's built by hundreds of small intentional decisions made week after week, shopping trip after shopping trip, and sometimes the smartest purchase you can make is the one you choose not to put in your shopping cart. And here's something my wife and I have learned over the years. A budget you can actually live with is far better than a perfect budget you abandon after 2 weeks. Financial success isn't about never enjoying life. It's about planning for the things you enjoy. How does this save money? A small planned treat can reduce the temptation to make much larger impulsive purchases later. A budget isn't a prison. It's simply a plan for your priorities. And in closing, before your next grocery trip, here's my challenge to you. First, shop your kitchen before you shop the supermarket. Second, create your own use it up list. And third, plan every meal before you write your grocery list. Then, compare this month's grocery bill with last month's. I'd genuinely love to hear how much money you saved. You may discover that the biggest savings didn't happen in the supermarket. They happened right in your own kitchen. Winning the grocery battle isn't about buying the cheapest food. It's about becoming a wiser steward of the food and the money God has already placed in your hands. Small changes practiced constantly can produce remarkable savings over time. In episode 2, we'll discuss how to become a smarter shopper at your supermarket, grocery store, or wholesale. You won't want to miss it. If you have watched this far, type stewardship in the comments. I'd love to know who stayed with me until the end, and it also lets me know you're enjoying the series. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's the best grocery saving tip your family uses in Jamaica? Share it in the comments below. Your idea may be featured in one of the upcoming episodes in this series, and it could help another Jamaican family save money. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your family and friends. And if you'd like to learn more about biblical financial stewardship, I invite you to get a copy of my book, Money Answers All Things. It's available on Amazon, Sanctuary bookstores, brand bookstores, and through direct orders. Together, let's continue building stronger families, making wiser financial decisions, and honoring God through faithful stewardship. Thank you for watching Building Wealth with Wisdom. I'm Adrian. Until next time, walk good, stay wise, and build wealth with wisdom. See you in the next episode.